Welcome into New York Jets Today. I'm your host, RC Maxfield, and the New York Jets started their 2021 campaign down in Charlotte against a familiar face at the quarterback position in Sam Darnold in the Carolina Panthers. Unfortunately for the Jets, Sam Darnold got the last laugh as the Panthers won this one 19-14, but it's not all negative as Zach Wilson, the number 2 overall pick in the NFL draft, showed some positive signs. But before we get into the analysis of Zach Wilson, you tell me your one-word reaction to the Jets' Week 1 loss. I think overall you saw some positives on the offensive side. You also saw some negatives, but really when it came down to it and what the Jets needed to do, they just really couldn't do a lot of those things, and it just felt like they struggled all day long in terms of trying to get down to the red zone. The first time they got to the red zone was with 2:51 left in the fourth. The offense was good between the 20s, just had a difficult time getting to the 20s and really just set back and got to in between that Panthers 40 and 45 yard line, but couldn't get past that except for that one time in the fourth quarter. As for Zach Wilson, I thought he looked all right, all things considered. His offensive line really didn't help him at all. We'll get to an injury on the offensive line here in a second, but overall I thought Zach Wilson made a lot of pro quality throws and lived up to some of that hype that you saw at BYU and really going into the big city in New York. Some of his wide receivers didn't help as well, including Elijah Moore, who had a critical drop on a third down. But when you look at it, you can tell that chemistry is there with Corey Davis, the big free agent offseason signing for the Jets. But go back to school for me. Grade Zach Wilson's Week 1 performance. You got an A, B, C, D, or F for me when looking at all things considered, right? And that's what I think you have to do here. It's his first game in the pros. I'll give him a C+. He made a bad throw on that interception. Sure, it was tipped, but you look at what he did. He threw outside the numbers and had a little bit of short passes out there as well, but when you consider the offensive line and the struggles that they had, as well as a couple of drops from the wide receiver, I'll give him a passing grade, almost a B, give him like a 78 when it all comes down to it. Not a bad pro debut for Zach Wilson. Obviously, he wishes he could come out with the W, but unfortunately, the Jets couldn't do that. Mekhi Becton, this is the big news out of this one for the New York Jets. He left the game early with an MCL sprain. Ian Rappaport reporting that. All things considered, I think that's probably best case scenario on the injury. It looked like it could be a lot worse. He was having really a lot of difficulty getting off the field. 2 trainers had to help the 6'7", 360-pound lineman off the field. He looked good in a couple of pass pros, but also got beat on the outside by Brian Burns on one play. I think overall, you have to be okay with the MCL injury in the sense that it could have been a lot worse. But looking at what the Jets offensive line did, even with him in there, man, it's going to be absolutely rough in terms of just the replacement because you have a rookie at left guard and not a lot of experience and quality guys on that right side for the Jets. But again, when you look at what they did down in Carolina in the last couple of minutes, going down, getting a touchdown, having a chance to potentially tie it or take the lead, I thought that the Jets showed a lot of promise and a lot of fight, and that's exactly what Robert Saleh wanted to see. But Mekhi Becton, that is something to watch moving forward for the New York Jets in terms of how long will he be out and exactly who replaces him at the left tackle position. Corey Davis, how about that for a debut, right? Star wide receiver pickup for the Jets this offseason, had 5 catches, 97 yards, and 2 TDs. You can tell that chemistry is already there with Zach Wilson, which is really critical for a rookie quarterback to have. Typically, it comes at the tight end position. Corey Davis, a top 5 pick himself, obviously didn't work out in Tennessee, moved on to the Jets and really showed out early and often. Carolina really didn't have an answer for him in terms of guarding him or anything like that. I think this is a great rapport to have between Wilson and Davis and something to monitor moving forward in terms of if the New York Jets will have success all season long. Again, Carolina wins it 19-14 in this one. We'll keep you updated on the Mekhi Becton injury as he sprains his MCL in this one. Hopefully isn't out too long. A lot of positives from Zach Wilson and the Corey Davis connection. But before we head out here, let me know, who was the Jets MVP in Week 1 against the Carolina Panthers? I expect to see a lot of Zach Wilsons down in the comments, maybe even a Corey Davis or 2 down in the comments as well.